And this week's topic for Ramble Rouser is whatever's on this up. God damn it. Karens. This is going to be interesting to talk about. So, for those who don't know, somehow, the topic of Karens, it's kind of like almost this joke, mostly among millennials and Gen Zs, um, about older women, usually like Gen X or boomers or whatever, um, who like are the kind of like women you make fun of about like, oh, I need to see your manager, or the kind of women, the kind of like typical white women who would like complain and bitch about stupid things, or just over exaggerate threats and everything when calling the police, stuff like that. Um, and it covers mostly white women. Um, it mostly centers around white women specifically, because it's used a lot in regards to these women who are complaining specifically towards, about, or in the face of uh, people who are not white. um, and usually these women tend to be very conservative as well. Um, so I don't know when the concept really started, but it's been around for quite a while, and it did start mostly in regards to the "I want to see your manager" joke. Like it's always like the woman who's like, let me see your manager, like because she's complaining about something stupid. Like, I don't know, just as an example, like going to a fast food restaurant and her burger has one too many pickles on it or something. I don't know, something dumb like that. And so she's complaining and everything, and the person at the counter is like saying something like, maybe like, just take the pickle off. And she starts bitching and throwing a fit and like, I want to see your manager. And that's the kind of gist of it. But it started expanding into more things, especially uh, basically since the entire 2016 election, that I noticed. At least it might have started well before then, but that's when I really noticed it starting to expand. And ever since, pretty much, it's been much more prevalent as a term and has gotten a lot more active use from people, especially, well, mainly online. Um, and from what I've seen, the term is usually used in obviously a negative manner because it's making fun of them. But I've also seen it used in a very serious manner too, to the point where it's like some people are seeing this as like, oh, they can be dangerous, and they can. Because as I mentioned, like there are some cases where these Karens, as they're put, will like call the police on like innocent people of color. Like there's one thing, I think it was in this firefighter series, I want to say. I think it was a firefighter series that aired a while back. I think Rob Lowe was in it. I don't remember what it's called. Um, my friend actually told me about it and everything. But apparently, in it, there's this Karen who calls 911 on her neighbors who are people of color. I don't remember exactly like where they were supposed to be from or whatnot. Um, there was smoke coming out of their backyard, and she was like assuming like the worst, like exaggerating everything about it. And they get there and they find out, oh, they're just doing this like foreign method of cooking where they cook it in like this under, they dig a hole underground and they cook it in the hole and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, the smoke is one thing, but it's like afterwards she's like basically throwing a fit and being extremely bigoted in more than just racist ways. Um, but it's like, and in the end, even the fire team, who I guess the show is mostly about. I've never actually watched the show. I just know of this moment, but even they start like making fun of her and stuff, and it's like they're just like seeing how ridiculous she is and everything, and she's like asking each of them for help, and at one point, because I don't know, I think she's pretending to be victimized at one point, which is another common thing you see these Karens do. They pretend to be the victims, even if there nothing actually happened. But the point I'm getting at is there's a lot of Karens who do this kind of thing, and I use this just as an example. But in a lot of cases, they'll like call the cops, and you know how the cops can be not the best in that situation. And plenty of people have died because of this. Kids have been murdered by police because of shit like this. And these Karens and the people who support them and everything think it's fine. Think that it's just like protecting their community and shit. When it's like all these innocent people are getting killed because of it. And it's fucking ridiculous. And so it's like a lot of people, when they use these terms, it's not just that they're making fun of these women by calling them Karens. And I don't know why specifically the name Karen was chosen, by the way. Um, it's just the name they went with, I guess. But it's not only the it's not only that they're necessarily making fun of them, but they're also like using it as a legitimate term to describe this basically unofficial, unaffiliated group of people who are in some cases very dangerous. So it's really unsettling. It's really just unsettling to see this kind of shit. And it's like I've seen plenty of these people in real life. I've known plenty of these people in real life. And it's disgusting. It's horrible that people act this way. I mean, just like the let me see your manager over exaggerating bullshit is one thing. It's like if it were just related to that, it would be something you could kind of just wave off. Yeah, it's rude. Yeah, it's just stupid, but it's not something that's going to cause any real issues. But with the way it's expanded, it actually causes issues and it causes deaths. And that's not something that's really that you can really just sit back and ignore. Um, and obviously, people know that these women aren't necessarily named Karen and stuff, and it's kind of like just a joke term just to describe them, just to have something to refer to them as other than just this crazy white woman or whatnot. Um, and obviously, there have been Karens who have been non-white, but for the most part, when you hear about them, they're talking about the white women specifically, who are also, again, most of the time conservative and everything as well. It's usually this very specific group of people. It just ends up being almost every time. um, but yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's just a term, but they get so upset by it, and I don't think they even know why. And I think it kind of just goes into them just over exaggerating and being ridiculous again. That they're getting so upset about being called Karens, like they're trying to like get it proclaimed to be like this hate term or something. They're trying to get it treated as if it were some kind of slur, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like that's not even slightly the case. And it just goes into that, into what they tend to do, and it's just like, you people are stupid. You people are just stupid. But yeah, yeah. Um, Really, it just boils down to ridiculousness and people being really stupid, out of touch with reality, and over exaggerating everything. And you ask, what, like, why would they even do that? It's like, well, probably because of how they were raised. They were probably raised to over exaggerate issues like this by parents who did the same. It's just something that's passed on. They're not necessarily like legitimately crazy or mentally unwell. They were raised to think that this is how it is, that these issues are this important. And if not even by a parent, it's just through what they saw other people do. And they were never told that that was wrong and that was unnatural. And so they absorbed it and were influenced by it to believe that it was just how things are and how they should be. And obviously, the aspects of it that go along with like racism and just bigotry in general, yeah, those are again focused on the entire thing about being taught that that's okay, being taught that it's normal to treat people like that when it's not, but they think it is. And it's like with it being so ingrained in their lives and their minds at that point, it's hard for them to see otherwise. And you kind of feel bad for them having like been basically educated into thinking that way. But at the same time, you also can't help but hate that and hate them to a degree. And you're not wrong in either aspect. You're not It's not wrong to feel bad for them for being raised that way. But it's also not wrong to hate racists and bigots. It's perfectly valid, and honestly, you should hate racists. You should hate bigots. You should hate people who root for, fight for, and try to implement things that would equal your oppression or the oppression of others, even if not directly related to you. Like I'm white, clearly, but racism is one of the most like horrible things for me. It bothers the hell out of me. And I won't lie. I have engaged in racist speech, matters of speech and terms and stuff in the past. Like I've never like necessarily like been super aggressively racist towards any people of any race, but I have engaged in racism through just simple terms and stuff that used out of context and used in negative ways have just done harm in a way. Even using such a term as spirit animal. Like it took me a long I actually fought against people who told me not to use that because it's appropriation to use that term, which has deep, important meaning for Native American people. And it's such a common term that people have used. Like, oh, this character is my spirit animal and stuff. But it took me a long time to realize how wrong I was in doing that. And just various things like that. How I shouldn't use that term because I'm appropriating a term from another culture, a race of people, and using it in a way that is disrespectful towards them. And again, I fought against that. Like, there was this one person I had a very notable argument with on Facebook regarding that. I was defending my use of it, saying it's just a word and shit, and trying to defend my right to say it and everything. And I was wrong. And I look back on that and I know I was wrong. But that's the thing. I'm a specific demographic, and I don't know about people outside of that demographic and uh, how they view things. I don't know the perspective of Black people in this country. All I can do is listen to them, hear what they have to say, and support them. All I can do is fight against people who would oppress them. And it's something. And I'll never know exactly what they go through. I can only, again, know from their experiences, from what they tell me, or just share publicly. Same goes for any group of people. If you're not LGBTQ plus, then you don't know what the struggles of being LGBTQ plus is. So, like, if you're specifically, just as a specific example, trans people. If you're not trans, you don't know what it's like to be trans or what the struggles or problems that come with that are. Because there definitely are a lot of problems that come with that. Speaking from experience and from other people's experiences that even I haven't experienced. There's other trans people who have experienced things that luckily I have not. But I also understand more of how that would come to be, being trans myself. And that's the thing. These Karens don't understand that. They don't know these experiences, they don't understand these experiences, but they act as if they do. They act as if, like, they know pretty much anything they need to, and that they can judge based on their narrow bit of knowledge. And that's what they do. And again, not necessarily talking about the ones who just like complain at a fast food restaurant or a department store. I'm talking at this moment more about the more serious ones. The ones who are calling the cops and getting Black kids and Hispanic people killed, and more, even more than that, obviously. But yeah, um, I think that's what I've got to say here. Like, I don't want to go too far into things that are kind of off topic, but also still relevant. Like, I wouldn't say entire racism spiel, um, which again, it's still relevant to the topic, but it's like I want to keep it more on focus with the topic drawn from the hat. Um, because racism could be its own topic, honestly. Um, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna go with for today, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Like, what has your experience with Karens been? Whether just like hearing the term through online or even seeing or hearing about these people in real life. And just as a note for the future, I have a limited amount of slips of paper in this hat. I am not adding any more to the hat. Once they are gone, this series is done. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that could be added in, all kinds of stuff that could be like dropped in because the world keeps turning, things keep happening. But I've decided that this is just going to be a limited time series, at least for now, and that once the topics in the hat are gone, they're gone. If we ever choose to continue down the way in the future, then cool. But for now, this is going to be what we go with, and we're just going to finish off with what we have. And I don't know exactly how many are still left in there. Like, I'm not going to go through and count every single one. But but yeah, basically when they're gone, they're gone. So just want to let you know that as well for those who do watch these videos. um, and I think it just depends on the topic if some people watch them. To be fair, um, and yeah, there's still a mix in there of like more serious topics and more fun ones. But yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.